What's up, guys? Welcome to Bro Beats. Today I'm going to be showing you guys some 808 combos you can use in your 808 patterns. If you guys haven't subbed already or returned post on this on, make sure you do so because it does help out a lot. So let's hop right into it. So I'm gonna try to condense this as much as I can because it can get a little crazy. But first I'm gonna just play. It's like a really simple beat, just to help the 808 stand out. But I'll just play it real quick, and obviously put the 808 in. But I'm gonna mute the drums so we can focus on the 808. So how I want to do this is I'm gonna start because I want to fill this whole thing up, all right? And we're gonna just do it with a whole bunch of combos of like effects and chops and stuff. So I'm gonna just start here, and then we can just kind of go from there. So first things first, obviously we need to find a good pattern. So let's go ahead and do that. Start on the root. Okay, so that's a good starting pattern. So with this one, what you can do with the slide, so you can come up here or you can press S on your keyboard, click slide, and now it will place a slide note. Now what you can do is shrink it, right? Now most people they'll just use one slide, right? But what you can do is actually use multiple on down. So I'm gonna actually go a little bit higher. We can go maybe up here, and you can bring it down. Just how you do like if you were doing a hi-hat and you were just pitching it down, same thing here. Then we can stop it around here. All right, and it'll kind of switch. You can mess around with these and move them around and see what kind of cool effects you can get with this. So let's listen to this one. All right, and then we can add another one. All right, and then into this note, what we can do is make a chop right here, and it'll automatically highlight it. And what you want to do is press Alt U, and it'll chop it. And this is like a little reverse 808. And then let me bring this up for you. What I'm gonna do is hold right click and drag up, and it'll kind of swoop into that note. Okay, so this is like the most basic one, and then we're gonna get to the next ones. We can get more complex, but here's the first part. All right, so let's move on to the second one. So now we're moving on to number 2. So let's go over here and make our pattern. I'm gonna highlight it so you can kind of see where we are. Let me try to zoom in as much as I can. So let's take one of these notes. Let's just make a decent little pattern, and we can kind of cut this in. All right, so something you can do on this one, and let me pull it in so you can see this. Something you could do, like with these notes like that hit really fast, you could go to Control, and let me drag it up, Control, Pan. What you do is pan one to the left and right. A lot of people probably won't like doing this because they're used to just having it in the middle every single time, but this does spice it up a bit, and let me make sure you click one of these notes that isn't panned so it doesn't copy the pan that you use, because if you just keep this note, you'll see that every 808 that you place will be panned. So you don't want that. So make sure you go ahead and reset it. So here's what it will sound like. You can even make it more extreme. Okay, so now here's another thing. Let me see. Let me move this back. So with this, instead of pulling this down, right? So far we did slides that went up. So what you could do is actually make a slide go down. So we can kind of mimic this, right? But we can use a slide to do it. So we could place a small, like a super small slide, like right here. Let's highlight it. Again, let me zoom in for you. I'm holding shift, pressing up, and then what you want to do is press control down to pull it down an octave. Okay, and then this will shift it down. All right, you can mess around with the timing, but I'm gonna just keep it there. So now this last part will help with your kick and your 808 mix. All right, so I'm gonna just do it on this one. So let's take this note and pull it down. Now, usually your kick, and I'm gonna play the kick. When you have a 808 that's like a higher frequency, it doesn't really sound great with the 808. Usually, depending on what you're using, but most of the time it doesn't sound too great. So those lower frequencies would kind of make it hit harder. So what you want to do is pull the front down, all right, of that 808, and then you want to pull the second part up. So we can pull this up an octave. All right, so the first part where the kick hits will be low, right? So it'll come out a little bit clearer, and then the rest of it will kind of just be this frequency, right? So I'll play it, and you might have to adjust it as well. So let's just highlight the part that we're trying to listen for. All right, and if we take it out, you can see that it's a little bit clearer. Now, you can obviously mess around with this and make it sound a little bit better. Okay, so that's just something quick you can do without mixing to make it sound a little bit clearer. So now let's move on to the third one. All right, so we reached like the half point. So I'm gonna just play the whole thing all together. All right, so let's go ahead and do the third one. Now this one's gonna get a little crazy. We're gonna do some stuff, thinking outside the box stuff here. So let's just find our note, and I'm thinking G sharp might be like the right one, because yeah, we used it already. So let's just make a pattern again, make a simple pattern. Just kind of, we could put like a reverse 808 thing here. Kind of swoop into this note, keep going. And just finish it off right there. Okay, so now we're gonna get heavy into like panning and stuff, right? So again, we can just use this as our chop. So Alt U, and then what you can do is you can choose whichever one you like, but I'm gonna do this one. So it's not going too fast, because it's gonna sound like it's gonna sound like a glitch type of sound if you do it if you chop it too much. All right, so what we want to do, let me zoom in. What we want to do is hold shift, click and drag, right, and then pull it down. So I would usually do this on like the closest note in the scale from our root, right? Well, this isn't our root, but from in this pattern from our note that we started with. So what we want to do now is highlight the top one, and I'm gonna drag this up. And what we can do is right click and hold, and then you can drag the velocity like so, and then reverse it this way. So it's like an X. Let's move that up a bit. All right. So you can see they're kind of swooping. One is swooping this way. Yeah, one is swooping this way, and one is swooping to the left. So now let's go to our pan and do the same exact thing. So you can choose whichever one you want. I'm gonna just do like a little quick X like this. Start from here and go there. All right, and let's play it. Okay, and it's like a little cool effect you can do. All right, now what you need to remember is to click one of these notes so the pan doesn't stay to the left or the right. All right, because then your 808 pattern will be messed up and you have to go back and do it manually. So let's go back to velocity, pull this down. Let's continue this out. And what we can do here is actually do some wobble, like a wobble effect. And you don't really hear this too much in like rap or anything, but you can use it here. So what we're gonna do is make sure you have the slide so that it has this icon. Drag it in real, like, so it's like chopped like this. However small you want it, it'll be quicker. So if we put it like this, it'll be a slower wobble, but we want a fast one. So basically what I'm gonna do is just do something like this and then pull every other one up. So shift up like that, and we can pull this one out a bit, and then you finish it out like this. Let's move this up and highlight these. Now let's go to pan and then we could just pan it. Now, why we're panning it is because we want it to sell the wobble effect. So it going left and right will make it seem like it's kind of like shifting, but it's really not. We're just shifting the pan. So we could do something like this. Doesn't have to be super crazy. And then pull it back down. And again, click that note so it doesn't stick to the pan. And then let's go back here and play the whole thing. Play from top. All right, and if you want this to be stronger, you can just move it down. All right, but I just like it subtle. All right, so that is the third one. So now let's move on to the fourth. All right, so now we're on to the last combos. So let's go ahead and highlight the last section. And again, we're just gonna find a note. Let's just find a note that sounds good here. So pull it down. It's like the easiest way to find it. So zoom in. Let's just find our pattern first. Okay, so I'm gonna add a thing like a chop here. So I'm gonna keep that. Now, what we're gonna do here is chop. We could chop this, but I'm gonna just do it manually because I don't just do it like this. Now, what I'm gonna do is slide it back like this so it kind of stops. Now, what you could do is kind of do like the reverse of the way thing, right? So you can swoop in, but what you can do on each part. Now, I'm not really a big fan of this, but if you do it right, it'll sound good. You can put a slide on each one, but you have to like pick the right notes though. So I'm gonna try to just do a quick one. All right. All right, but again, you can see how this can sound bad if you don't put the right stuff here. But again, that is something you can do. So I'm gonna just keep it just so you can, see it. But we could do the same thing here. So let's just chop it. I'll just do it manually. Okay, and then we could kind of do something similar here. But what I would like to do is you just pull the actual notes down, and then you want to take the slides and use the slides as kind of like the notes. Now, if you put the slide velocity all the way up, this will stand out more than the note that you're using, right? So let's just try to do like a, oh no, let's do it. All right, so that's just something simple that you can do that can kind of be, now you have to be very creative with this last one, right? But let's just play it all the way through. All right, and I will obviously just take this one out. All right, so those are some 808 combos. I'll just play the whole thing all the way through. Okay, so here we go. All right, so that's going to be it for this video. This was just to help you kind of think outside the box and kind of help you think of some combos that you can use instead of just using basic ones like the simple slides and everything. But yeah, that's going to be it. Hopefully this was helpful. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.